Here's the hard truth. Most women are playing small and they don't even realize it. How do I know? Because I was one of them. So I went from being a professor in Europe and Canada to building multiple businesses in Europe and Canada from the ground up, becoming an award-winning real estate broker, opening and operating an award-winning real estate brokerage with two offices, opening a coaching company, coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs and professionals, and speaking on stages, as well as surviving health challenges that most people don't ever survive from. And I know that from the statistics and the stories that we hear every day. So I think it's really important that we have this discussion today. Why are women playing small in business? And I am going to share the 5 success secrets that transformed my life and the lives of so many women that I have coached through the years so that you can stop just surviving and start thriving on your terms in success, in business, and in your life. Here is how we're going to start today. You're chasing success, but something still feels missing. Have you ever felt like that? You know what it is that you want to get to, but something is just not right. Or maybe you've already achieved success, and again, there's like this empty feeling. Or maybe you have the pressure, or you feel the pressure to have it all and do it all, but no one tells you how to actually make it work. How do you become a successful woman, have a family, have time for your kids because you want them to grow up successful, and you're a wife, and all of these other roles that you play and that you are. But where does this method of becoming successful tie into all of that? I'm going to help walk you through that today because through everything that I've done, including getting a master's degree while I had two small kids, working 3 jobs, and how did I start up businesses? How did I run businesses, operate them, and at the same time do coaching, speaking on stages? And in case you're wondering, are my children successful? I will leave it up to you to determine. My youngest one is in his 4th year studying astrophysics. He's got a brilliant mind. My first and oldest son, in his early 20s, opened and is now running with his partner a digital media and marketing company where they have huge contracts. They have shot award-winning films, and that's both my children, even while I was doing everything else. So, welcome back, everyone, to a Mindset Medicine podcast. I am your host, Katherine Loucaidou. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have multi passions. And if you have been listening to this for some time, you'll know that I do have a lot of passions in AI and tech, in mindset, in clarity of your vision, of knowing what it is that you want to do in life, but the mindset that you actually need to get there. And of course, generally success in business and in life, that to me is very close to my heart. You know, some people have hobbies. I read business books and I love listening to business podcasts, creating podcasts. So for me, this really is what I enjoy doing. So I hope you'll come along on the ride with me today as we look into the key success principles for women who want to be successful in business and in life, and how to tackle it all while without losing yourself at the same time, because that's really important as well. So We want women to be able to have these beautiful lives. And how do you design this life where you can just get a little bit of everything that you love? So, there are 5 key success principles that I'm going to talk to you today. So, here is where you can shine as a thought leader. If you are a leader in your space, if you are an employee in a company, if you're self-employed, the first principle isn't about perfection. It is about progress. And I will be very honest with you. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to be the perfect wife. I wanted to be the perfect teacher. I wanted to be the perfect boss. I wanted to be the perfect everything. But what that does is it will make you miserable. It will burn you out. It will remove the joy from life because you are always striving for an image that doesn't actually exist. When I was younger, when and I first got married and I had young children, it was this idea of, well, I need to show everyone I'm the perfect wife and perfect mother. And you can do everything perfectly, but if there are things missing, um, marriage will break down and your children will not listen to you. If you are striving for an image that doesn't really exist or cannot exist for the environment that you've created, perfection in fact will keep you stuck. And successful women focus on taking action, even when it's messy, when it's imperfect. My life changed when I started embracing it's better to be good and done than chasing this idea of perfection, which actually doesn't even exist to begin with. So, so many times over the years, when I was chasing the idea of perfection, I, rather than spending more time, for example, with my kids at home, I would think, oh, but a good mother's probably taking them to a play area, right? That's what I should be doing. This idea of the word should, I think it should be removed from our vocabulary because it can destroy your life. I don't know if I'm a good enough mother. Maybe I should be doing this instead. How much time do I need to spend with my children? Should I spend with my children? There is no should. The way I look at time is we have 2 options really. We have quantity and we have quality of time. So if you have small children and you want to be successful, you have to figure out your time management. What your children need is to know that you are around. They want to know that you care. They want to know that you have an interest, but you don't need to do that 24/7. And I think that anyone who claims that they spend a lot of time with their children, I think you don't. I think you're probably on your phone knowing that you're with your kids. Maybe you're watching a show and the kids are playing. That's not actually being with your children. So to remove the guilt feeling, what I learned was, what if I dedicated time to spend with my children, especially when they were younger, and do things that they would think that were fun, but we would do them together. So, it was like building little cities out of boxes in the backyard. Just us doing those things. It was doing arts and crafts. It was going on nature walks, picking up rocks, painting rocks, all kinds of things like that. And what I found was that we all were allowed to use our imagination. We had this wonderful quality of time together. But then I was able to go back and when they were young, whether it was I was working on my master's degree, whether I had to grade papers, when I was running the business that I had, I chose a business that I could involve my children in when I opened the indoor play area. I have always been very um, aware of where I needed to be and how I needed to show up at that point in my life. We can have ideas where, you know, especially in the real estate industry, I've seen a lot of women get into the real estate industry and they have these visions of becoming a high powered broker and they're going to be busy all the time, but they have young children. So, what is your plan? Are you getting a nanny and the nanny will take care of your children? Are you going to bring your children with you to every showing, every open house? I don't know that every woman has the capacity to be able to multitask like that. So I do believe that success comes in chapters in your life. And there are certain chapters that require more of you to be very present with your children while also running a business, but you may have to put other things in place, have more help, have more people at the business taking care of things, know how to leverage your time, know how to diversify what you're good at, and how to give other people responsibilities. So that's the first one, is really understanding that whenever I see a mother and a woman trying to achieve perfection in doing everything amazingly, you're not going to reach there. So try and get as close to good without having that guilty feeling as you can. Let's move on to number two, setting boundaries to protect your energy and your priorities. You cannot pour, you cannot pour a cup of coffee with an empty coffee, for example, a kettle or a coffee maker. There is nothing to pour. You cannot pour into someone else if you have no energy, if you have no vibrancy. We tend to take a lot on our plates. We tend to overload our plates. And we tend to say yes to more things than we should. And the reason for that is because you just don't know how to say no. And saying no is probably one of the most powerful skills that a successful woman will master in life. You see, not every opportunity will require or deserve a yes. Because someone else is asking you to do something, what that means is that you are trying to help them achieve whatever it is that they need to achieve, their agenda. But it doesn't mean that that falls into what your agenda is. And this kind of goes back to the idea of mindset and clarity. What do you want in life? What do you want out of, what do you want your future to look like? What is that vision of the future for you? And would saying yes to that opportunity fulfill your vision of your future? Well, the reason why so many women end up saying yes to so many opportunities is because they're missing the clarity on their own future. They're missing what they value most in this world. So you may want to be highly successful, make a lot of money, drive a gorgeous car, go on lots of holidays. But are you saying yes to things that will take you away from that vision? Or are you saying yes to things bringing you closer to that vision? When you have clarity on what you want for the future, how you want to feel in that future, and who you want to be surrounded with in that future, that is when success starts to fall in place. That is when the opportunities that you choose are exactly right for you. When I started choosing my opportunities, that's when success started to multiply for me. I needed to become laser focused on what I really wanted. So when I opened my first business, which was the children's indoor play area, my vision was to have this wonderful play entertainment center that catered parties, but also brought kids in during the day with their schools, and it would almost be like their PE lesson. And I did. I managed to do that because I was laser focused on if that is my end goal, I need to reverse the steps to do that. And anything else that came into the equation that didn't fall in to these visions of the future for that particular business, I would say no to. When I owned my real estate brokerage, I knew I wanted to grow that. I knew I wanted a second office. I had to have a focus on where each of these offices would go. And anything that took me away from what I was trying to create. So, whether it was a conference that I didn't need to be at, whether it was bringing in agents that weren't necessarily the right fit for my brokerage, also had to be taken into account. So these are the examples of setting boundaries. Um, I could go on. There's a whole episode on boundaries that we could do together. Even time boundaries. How much time are things and people taking away from you? And what do you say no to and what do you say yes to? It all comes back to your clarity. Let's go to number 3. Defining success on your terms. What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, so often we determine that success is sort of like what we should be doing. Oh, well, that's what it looks like on social media. Maybe that's what it's supposed to look like for me. Or that's what I was told I should be achieving by now, right? If I'm in this position or I'm running this company, this is where I should be. That word should. My question is, success isn't what society tells you, but what feels right for you in this chapter of your life right now. What feels right for you? Are you ready to catapult your success and go to the next level because you have that freedom of time and energy that you can invest in that? Or do you have other responsibilities that make it really difficult for you right now to be at that level where you want to be? But you could incrementally work up to that, couldn't you? Until the time that you're ready. This is something that when I'm coaching other women who tell me about their plans for success, it is wonderful to have these big ideas about achieving success. Just make sure that the way you have designed your life, and I use the word designed purposely, falls in line with what that needs to look like. Because you've got to design your life in a way to reach those milestones that you're looking for. It doesn't happen naturally. And that's really a key about success is being intentional about what it is that you're creating and this life that you're creating that is leading you to that point. So I'd love you to think about this for a moment. What does success mean for you? If we were to be together and I was to send you off with a PDF to fill out, a worksheet, here is what I would ask you to do. I would ask you to close your eyes and 3 years from now, 1 year from now, tell me when you wake up in the morning, where are you? What are you doing? What are you looking forward to that day? What does your work day look like 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now? How do you feel about it? Are you energized? Do you feel refueled? Are you burnt out? Maybe you can't even envision that because right now your mind is so clouded with not knowing what to do next. Wherever you are in that scenario that I just explained, that's what you've got to get really clear on. Is where do you want to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now? Because in order to be a successful woman in business and in life, you have to have a vision of what that looks like for you. You also have to have a mindset of belief. Do you believe that you can get to that vision that you've created? Or do you think it's unbelievable? Your belief in yourself is one of the first elements of success. Because if you don't believe that you can get there to that point of success that you have always imagined, then you're never going to get there. Do not rely on other people's confidence in you to get anywhere you need to go. I had a meeting last week, and here is what I said in that meeting. If no one is offering you a stage, build your own. We have social media today. If you are waiting for someone to invite you to be a guest on a podcast, if you are waiting to be invited to speak on a stage, or waiting to be invited to be part of a networking group, go out and build your own. Do not wait for others' invitations because they have an idea of where they're going and who they want on that ride. And it does not matter if you're not a part of their equation. You need to start creating your own. When I started facing health challenges, I was 33. I had multiple heart attacks until I finally had open heart surgery. I had triple bypass surgery. And then a week later, I had a minor stroke as a result of the surgery. It was a very difficult climb back up because I didn't know who I wanted to be. I was 33, and this idea of what I had created my life to look like had literally been shattered overnight. And the reason I say that is because if things had been going well, then I shouldn't have had multiple heart attacks in a row to begin with. So obviously something wasn't going right. And what I realized is that it was the stress that I was under that I did not control well enough because I was reacting emotionally to all of the stress around me rather than becoming proactive about it. And how do I deal with this? So what that taught me was boundaries. And I had to start to get to know myself really well. What does Katherine want at this point in her life, in a year's time from now, in 3 years' time? What do you really want? Because this idea of perfection that you've created obviously isn't working for you. So we need to shift. And maybe it's time to start following your path. Instead of trying to be the perfect wife, the perfect teacher, the perfect mother, what if you just become who it is you were truly meant to be? Just start following your heart on what it is that you want to do. And that's what I did. And when I finally came to that realization that we get one chance at life, I was lucky enough to get two. But when that happens, you need to take a look at yourself and say, where have I been playing small? Where should I be going? And if you're not sure, then book a clarity call with me because I can help you get onto that path. It is not easy to navigate this by yourself. You have to do a lot of work to really get to the core of what do you want for yourself. The last principle of becoming a successful woman in business and in life is taking bold action before you are ready. Stop overthinking. It will not get you anywhere. The only way you are going to move forward is by actually taking the step forward. And most of the time, we know what that step is, but we're allowing our mind and we're allowing the noise of people around us to interfere with what we know we have to do. So, the truth that I learned the hard way is that no one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. No one was coming to save me when I was lying in the bed in the hospital, dying of heart attacks. There was no one coming. Yes, there was a surgeon, but he didn't know what to do. He couldn't stop them. I had to start talking to myself. I was talking to God, and I simply said, I need to change things. And I promise, just let me live through this. And I will shift the way that I've been thinking and doing everything. And I have done that over and over and over. Every time I realized that things weren't going in the direction that was needed to move me forward, I had to shift my mindset because there was something I wasn't seeing. There was a gap in my thinking. There was a gap in my perspective and the way that I was looking at a situation. And if I could teach myself to change perspective, that's when I realized that becoming successful not only takes a very resilient mindset to keep bouncing back, but yes, you have to make mistakes, but you have to take action. Sitting back and waiting for someone to come along and give you an opportunity, don't wait because they may not be coming for you. So, my question to you is what is the one bold move that you can make today that will start to fill in the pieces of your vision? That's my question. And then you're going to start doing it because that is what you need, that first step forward. And when you achieve that little milestone, now you have the next step ready. And you just keep working like that until you reach that level that you've been waiting for and thinking about and envisioning and dreaming about. My reason for doing this today is because I don't want you as a woman to play small anymore. The gifts that you have within you, other people need to see and they need to know about. And if you've been waiting for someone else to shine a light on those gifts, please stop. You need to go out and shine your own spotlight on yourself. Give yourself a stage. Post on social media what is on your heart. Show people what you're capable of. And don't back down. If you have a goal, just keep going. You will get there as long as you have your clarity and your vision. You will get there, but don't forget to keep working on yourself all along the way. I have never stopped my education, my learning, learning new things. Right now, I'm trying to learn blockchain and I'm learning about crypto and I'm learning about Web3 and I'm customizing GPTs, things that were not in my vocabulary 18 months ago are now becoming very proficient for me. You can achieve anything you want to, but do you believe you can? And if you do, then you will. It's actually as simple as that. Thank you for watching today. If being a successful woman is really important to you, then it just means that you're going to show up for yourself. You're going to set boundaries, and you are going to design a life that feels really good according to your values and the way that you have envisioned that you want it to go. If you like this episode, if you know of a woman who needs to hear this episode, post it on social media, share it on social media, share it with your friends. I think that the more that we can help others realize their gifts as well, that is when women will stop playing small and realize everything they have to offer. Bye for now. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Mindset Medicine. Remember, every step you take toward building a resilient mindset and creating harmony in your life will get you closer to your dreams and that transformation that you've been looking for. If today's episode hit home for you, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is our fuel. Spread the love. Share this podcast with friends and family. Tag me on Instagram at Katherine Loucaidou Coaching. And if you're looking for more tips and resources, head over to KatharineLoucaidouCoaching.com. Stay connected, stay inspired, and keep living your very best life with harmony and purpose. And until next time, my friends, live boldly with purpose.